We are NRIA, a leading specialist in middle market institutional real estate investment management. Today, we'd like to walk you through the capital structure of a new construction real estate transaction called the capital stack. It defines the order that income and profits are dispersed and how. As an investor, understanding your position in the capital stack is a crucial part of your due diligence. It will help you quantify the potential upside and the potential downside of your investment. Why is this important? Because not every capital stack is the same. Some, like NRIAs, have clear advantages. Knowing the difference is critical. Let's start with a traditional real estate capital stack, which is comprised of 3 investment tiers. Senior debt is here at the bottom. It functions as the foundation, shouldering 50 to 65% of the project costs. The senior loan is basically a short-term construction mortgage underwritten by a traditional bank lender for a fixed rate of return. Interest payments are made monthly and the principal is returned upon project completion. Because the loan is collateralized, like a home mortgage, the asset would transfer to the lender in a default. That makes the first lender in the safest position in the capital stack. But lower risk also means less reward, hence earning the least of the 3 tiers at just 4 to 8%. The second layer is the mezzanine. This is typically a debt position in traditional structures and is a loan behind the senior lender's position. It is commonly a significantly smaller piece of the capital stack at just 10% and can be expensive. It's secured on the asset like the senior loan. The mezzanine lender receives monthly interest payments and full principal return in exchange for its second position loan capital and is paid back after the senior lender but before equity investors receive their profits. In exchange for this moderate risk, the mezzanine lender typically receives an interest payment of 17%. A mezzanine loan also has a right of foreclosure. Here again, NRIA's stack is substantially different. NRIA uses mezzanine equity only, not debt. There is no second lender with a foreclosure right. This, combined with excellent credit, allows the NRIA senior lender to loan up to 80% of NRIA project costs as they are the only lender. Moreover, NRIA has a lower cost of mezzanine equity from its sources of mezz equity, including EB-5 foreign investor funds. The final piece of the capital stack is the equity investor, or owner's equity level, which is normally 20% cash in or more for traditional developer budgets. Almost all real estate investment opportunities are put together by a sponsor who is typically the developer and also has an equity position. Since typical developers have only 65% of costs loaned from the senior lender and 10% of costs from their second mortgage mezzanine lender debt, the small developer needs to put in the last 25% equity itself. 25% owner's equity is quite a bit of cash in on a large project and typically not feasible for many small development firms to handle. In NRIA's case, only 10% cash in is required from the equity investor and NRIA owners levels. Why? Due to NRIA's superior credit, long-term track record, and proven decade-long lender relationships. With the NRIA senior lender at 80% and its mezzanine equity at 10%, NRIA needs to come up with only 10% cash in. We then typically split that cash in between our own cash in at 5% and NRIA investors at 5%. The NRIA capital stack represents a much smaller amount of cash in needed from the investor developer owners. It's only 5% in from investors on a typical project. This small amount of 5% cash in from investors controls 100% of the cash out of the project at resale and gets repaid with returns first at the closing of building sales. All NRIA investors are paid ahead of NRIA on each building and must get paid first according to contract. NRIA investors are ahead of NRIA in creditor priority and must be paid in full before NRIA can take its profits. Thus, NRIA works very hard to get everyone paid, so we can be paid. Because investors are paid first after bankers and have only 5% cash in per project typically, NRIA's high targeted returns mathematically work. Paying 18 to 21% on just 5% of the capital stack is not a lot. Although the past does not guarantee the future, NRIA projects have delivered well over 21% per annum to our investors for our entire 15-year track record. NRIA, at the top of the stack after lenders and investors are paid, participates in the overall success of the development investment project, meaning its upside potential is unlimited and not capped in any way. Investors get their set return window of 18 to 21% with a floor guaranteed by the firm of 12% and all capital returned. NRIA controls the project, earning the highest rate of return, but is paid last, making its profit payout the riskiest yet most lucrative position in the capital stack. These large potential profits after you're paid is why NRIA works so hard on every property. NRIA can't get paid until our valued investors are paid. With NRIA, investors are put first, ahead of NRIA's profit-taking, and are in a preferred position, paid before NRIA's share as managing partner. Additionally, investors have a growing list of many individual buildings segregated from each other, paying you totally diversified returns. No single building's results affect another building or can cause your investment returns to not be paid. Each project is in its own legal silo, separated from any other project's risk. The pure building diversification, further spread out to 4 different markets and all Class A building stock, is a tremendous risk mitigation protection with NRIA. Now that we've covered the basics, let's take a look at the 5 distinct advantages of NRIA's unique capital stack and why it outperforms the traditional model and all others.